Our second high performance trait concerns knowledge. It's almost always the case that successful account managers know a lot. And in particular, they'll be able to tell you a lot about the key account, its people, its market, and so on. They'll be very good at seeing things from the customer's point of view, and they'll have a very good understanding about how the customer works. So this idea of having knowledge is fundamental to effective account management. But I think most of us know this already. If you've been on a sales training course, then one of the first things you'll have been taught is to understand the customer and to understand the customer's needs. There's nothing new in this for us. So what's the difference between the average account manager who already understands that they have to make an effort to know about the customer, and the customer's market, and the highly successful account manager? What is it that the highly successful account manager is doing differently? Well, the answer is, I think, that the highly successful account manager has not only the understanding, not only the knowledge, but also the insight. What do I mean by this? What's insight? Insight is the understanding of what the knowledge means to you. So there's a big difference between knowing something and knowing what this something means. So how do we move from knowledge to insight? Well, it's very simple. We ask ourselves the question, so what? So what? So what does this mean? You're telling me something, but so what? The answer to so what will give us the insight. And this is really important. Knowledge and data by themselves are just, well, knowledge and data. They don't actually do anything for you. Now, many senior managers will complain their account managers don't know enough about the customer. I hear this a lot, but I'm not sure this is right. In my experience talking with account managers, I find that most of them know a lot about the customer. The problem is that they've not moved to the next step in the thinking process, which is to identify what all this knowledge and data means for them, and therefore, what should they do? They have the knowledge, but they've not yet considered what this knowledge means. They've not answered the so what question. Let's consider a simple example from real life. And this is a case study, and in this situation, an account manager received a request for a quote from a division of a key account which the account manager had only a small share of the business. So following this RFQ came an email from the buyer asking if this was a product which the account manager had in stock right now, and also asking about the minimum delivery times. Now, the account manager was delighted because this is a division which she'd been trying to increase her share with for quite some time, and her immediate thought was to request a 10% price reduction from our line manager to, as she put it at the time, give them an introductory offer. And also because she felt this would be something to help develop a strong business relationship. Now, putting aside the error of thinking that reducing the price builds a strong relationship, let's consider what we know, and then let's think about what this actually means. In other words, what's the insight in this situation? So here's a customer which has shown no interest in buying from us despite our best efforts. Out of the blue, we get a request for a quote and a desire to know if we can supply immediately from stock. That's the knowledge. So what does it mean? Well, we can't guarantee what it means, but we can consider the most likely situation. And in this case, we ask ourselves, why would this customer suddenly want a quote? And why does it matter if we have the parts in stock right now? Well, a good answer is that the incumbent supplier may have a major problem of some sort, and it can't be fixed quickly. Maybe they can't deliver, and maybe the customer needs those parts immediately. Is that right? Well, we don't know, but it's a good guess. And it causes us to look for other evidence to support this possible situation. In fact, it turned out there was a major quality problem with the current supplier, and the account manager's company was the only other viable supplier at short notice. So far from thinking about a discount, This account manager should have been thinking about demonstrating how she was able to solve the problem, perhaps even at a premium price. That would be something else that she should be considering. So a little bit of insight gained by asking ourselves, so what, means we'll have a lot more insight, which in turn strengthens your position. The third element in the process is action. Knowledge leads to insight, leads to action. Now, we'll be discussing this idea in much more depth in the Strategic Growth Planning series of modules. But for now, just make sure that you ask yourself, so what, to turn knowledge into insight, into action. Well, I'll leave you now to think about this and to make some notes in your workbook.